Tacos y frijoles. I could sure use a new intro, something fresh and fun, don't you think? If you are experienced at creating intros and would be interested in creating a new intro for the Talking Mexican, I sure would love you for it. Welcome back to another episode of the Talking Mexican. What am I talking about today? Stick around and find out. And yes, I am wearing my cape today.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
You're probably asking yourself, what's the deal with all the names on the short video you just saw? I'll explain in a minute. I was speaking with a dear friend of mine recently who told me he was contacted by a recruiter for a possible VP position with a bank in San Diego. During the course of our conversation, my friend mentioned to me that another recruiter had once said to him, "You could never be management material because your voice is too high." I was floored. Talking Mexican be like, he said what? He actually told you that? Are you kidding me? Tacos y frijoles. Someone needs his chonies readjusted. This got me to think about some of the comments people have said to me over the years. Take a look. Híjole, people can be rough with their words. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with constructive criticism and honest feedback. I really don't. It is better to hear, at least I believe, it is better to hear what we need to hear than what we want to hear, because it builds character. Babe Ruth said it best when he said, "Every strikeout brings me closer to the next home run." Think about that. I am always about giving the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps that recruiter who told my friend what he did was being sincere, at least in his mind. Maybe he thought he was helping my friend by telling him what he thought he needed to hear in order to avoid wasting the recruiter's time, or his searching for a job opportunity he would, in the recruiter's mind or experience, never be qualified for because the tone of his voice did not lend itself to sounding managerial, thus rendering my friend ineffective as a leader. Yeah, and I have a sand hut to sell you in the Sonora Desert. Stupido. This brings me to all the names of the celebrities and others you saw near the beginning of today's episode. Each one of those now famous individuals was either fired from their job, let go, or told they could not sing or act and should stick with their day jobs. For example, Walt Disney was fired from the Kansas City Star in 1919 because his editor said he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Guess which mouse had the last laugh? J.K. Rowling was fired when working at the London office of Amnesty International because she would write stories on her computer all day long. Oy, the Talking Mexican is guilty of that himself. Oprah Winfrey was fired by the producer of Baltimore's WJZ-TV because she could not sever her emotions from her stories. Oprah, the Talking Mexican, loves a good cry, so just keep up with the work, girl. Elvis Presley was told by the concert hall manager of the Grand Ole Opry that he was better off returning to Memphis and driving trucks. Who was it that occupied Graceland? Lucille Ball was considered a failed and B-list actress and was urged by her drama instructors to try another profession. Who doesn't love Lucy? And one last example. Abraham Lincoln When he was young, he entered military service as a captain, but came out as a much lower private. Can you imagine that? He also tried to start up, like someone we all know, a ton of businesses, all of which failed. And before becoming president, which many of you know, he lost several runs for public office. Guess who went on to become one of America's greatest presidents? You're probably wondering, where am I going with all this? Fair enough. My point is this. There is always going to be someone who, for good or bad reasons, is going to point out what he, she, or they believe to be what they perceive you to be qualified or good, or not qualified or good at. However, if you, in your heart, mind, and soul, believe those individuals to be wrong in their assessment or perception of you, your skills, etc., then like the celebrities we just discussed, it's up to you and me to prove them wrong. This also ties into yesterday's episode. Work smart with focus and in silence, and let your success speak for you. Who knows? Maybe you or me will become the next person the world becomes familiar with. Not because we seek fame, fortune, or glory, but because of three things that are born from an idea: perseverance, determination, and believability. I may have a weird voice, and I may not be as funny as George Lopez, or as handsome as Ricardo Montalban was, or talented as Isai Morales, or gifted like Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias, or Mark Anthony. But like them and my friend in California, I have a dream. Sometimes that is all you need.
Hail to the king, baby.
Well, this concludes today's Talking Mexican. What are your thoughts? Before I forget, the Talking Mexican now has his own email address. The email address is iamthetalkingmexican@gmail.com. So if you're going to write to me, please write to me at that address from this point forward. Again, that is iamthetalkingmexican@gmail.com. As always, give God all the glory, share your comments below, and if you watch us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. I will talk to you again soon.
Have a holly jolly Christmas, it's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet.